There's a lot of stuff that people ain't talking about when it comes to Kendrick Lamar. Fantastic rapper, of course, great lyricist, great storyteller in his rhymes, all of this, but we need to get back to what's real. People ain't talking about how these celebrities be sellouts, bro, regardless if you like them or not. Like, there's no bias to this. I don't care about Drake, I expose them too. Great music again, terrible person, sellout, huge sellout, one of the biggest sellers out there, Jay-Z, all of them. You gotta know what's right, what's wrong. And in this video, I'm gonna be exposing Kendrick Lamar.
So let me explain the heart part 5 to y'all, okay? So he's literally wearing the masks of other people also. So he's being empathetic and realizing the emotions of each person, what they're going through, right? So then we get to the end, the beat changes, and all you hear is, I believe they're djembe drums. Now, I might be wrong on the type of drum, but that bongo-like drum that you hear is known in African spirituality to call in and bring in the ancestors. And I thought this was extremely significant because it comes in as soon as he starts as Nipsey. He was calling down Nipsey's spirit. Now Nipsey's here, then Nipsey speaking. That is why I said that Nipsey was speaking through Kendrick. If you don't believe it, that's cool. It's not for you, but this is just an explanation for the people that wanted it.
Again, you can see him with the one-eye symbolism. I want you to comprehend what's its importance. For example, when the police start looking into a gang, one of the first things they document is gang signs, you know, how they communicate with each other, secret words, secret phrases, secret things that they do to communicate within the gang. This is exactly what we're seeing with the one-eye symbolism, with the all-seeing eye imagery, with all these Masonic hand gestures. This is their gang signs. This is the way they're communicating within each other. The Masonic order is a proud organization. They like to brag. They like to put their stuff in plain sight. They like to hide their symbols everywhere and show people who's truly in control. It's just that they count on most people not knowing what it all means and missing it, which is what happens.
Symbolism. It's a go-to language in the occult. And let's be real, this ain't something that regular people just do on a day-to-day basis. Like, these things are called mudras, a symbolic or ritual hand gesture in Buddhism or Hinduism, etc. In which, if you know, yoga is just channeling demonic spirits through certain positions, like mudras as well. It's all energy and tapping into spirits. And only recently it's been a trend where everyone's been doing them, but that came from the Andrew Tate era, where he was just spamming it and then everyone just followed suit. But if you look throughout history, you see all these celebs, whether it's gangster rappers or pop singers, politicians, whatever, you name it, they've all been doing it this whole time. Us regular folk had no clue what it meant. Why is it only celebrities and politicians and people of power though? Like, are they in some sort of club that we're not a part of? Are they being taught ancient knowledge or something in the fraternities and lodges they're a part of? I mean, I think so. Well, I know so. And it just clearly seems that Kendrick's just another man that's initiated in one of these secret societies, in which I think Kendrick is a Freemason. So the thing is, he states it in his own lyrics. He uses that code language, and I'll get into that very soon.
Stars the Masons use to represent the Antichrist, as Kendrick has been presenting himself as his blasphemous Christ-like savior. In this song with Kendrick, J. Cole, and Young Jeezy called American Dream, Kendrick refers to himself as a traveling man. While that may not mean nothing to you, this is actually a code word used by Freemasons to identify each other. They call themselves traveling men. They actually identify each other by asking, "Are you a traveling man?" This is exactly what Kendrick is referring to with these lyrics.
After a few segments, even people he's associated with, like Diddy, I don't know what his relationship with Diddy is now, but I mean, I don't really give two dash about that anyway. And he's been doing it. Tupac, who Kendrick fully looks up to the most and highest degree, he's been doing it. And it's like, bro, these gangster people are doing it, politicians, all of them are doing it, and it just seems like some secret language.
He just did it. I only seen Jay do like one thing, like that wasn't a process. I think it was like more like a little, for lack of better terms, a little ritual. I know he always, when he was working on his albums, he would wear a Biggie chain, his Cuban with the Jesus piece. Jay rocked that. He wouldn't get no cut neither until he finished the album. Other than that, that little ritual right there, that thing he did, Jay ain't had no process.
I didn't know that, man. So when he'll work on the album, he'll wear a chain that he got from Big and he wouldn't get a cut.
Yeah, he'll wear a big personal chain. That was Biggie chain.
Wow.
Yeah, he would wear that.
Damn. And you never seen him pick up a pen or a paper?
Never.
Make it. Now I'm possessed by a spirit and they can't take it. Oh soul, bitch, I probably built them pyramids.
gonna sound very, very crazy. I'm already like 3,000 years old right now. I just tell people I'm 33 because I don't age like 3,000. I know that's gonna sound weird, but I don't age. I'm immortal. There's nothing new under the sun. My mother had sex with an angel, was born in the mortal, I don't even know it.
As you heard for yourself, he claims that he is close to 3,000 years old. He also states that he only tells people he's 33 because he doesn't age. He then mentioned the fact that his mother got with an angel and he was born immortal, essentially calling himself a Nephilim, which is what a half-human, half-angel is called. Live sinful lives. In Kendrick's speech, he admits that the Savior record is his favorite because it encourages people to be imperfect. He even describes the song as being the true meaning. Kendrick is pushing the same ideologies as Aleister Crowley, who also preached about accepting our imperfections and just being free. Being a follower of Christ means that we use the path Jesus laid out for us to better ourselves and to free ourselves from sin, not embrace sin and be free from judgment. No matter what Kendrick states about being judged, we are going to be judged by God when the time comes. In my opinion, Kendrick tries to disguise himself as a worshiper of Christ, but I am not buying it. It's clear to me that Kendrick is painting himself as a god, a false prophet who will lead many souls to a burning end, just as he claims when he states that he's no one's savior. Kendrick has shown in the past that he is not a worshiper of Christ in his music video with SZA. At the end of the All of the Stars video, they show Kendrick standing in front of the Egyptian gods, showing him staring at the gods as if he were worshiping them. This very scene contradicts any claims that Kendrick is a worshiper of Christ. In the Bible, God forbids us to worship any other gods, which is what we see Kendrick openly doing in the scene. At the beginning of the All of the Stars video, they paint Kendrick Lamar as a god being worshipped by a sea of people. The song is even titled All of the Stars, meaning all the celebrities who are worshipped. Something else I noticed in this BBC performance was when they show Kendrick standing in between two halves of the crown of thorns being displayed on the screen behind him. To me, they made the crown appear like wings behind Kendrick. When Kendrick stands in between the two halves of the crown, he appears as an angel with two wings on his back. It appears to me that it all ties to the message Kendrick is sending out, to accept your imperfections and forget about God's judgment. The same message that Lucifer has been preaching since he was casted out of heaven. By the end of Kendrick's BBC performance, we see Kendrick with blood dripping down his shirt in an obvious satanic rebirth ritual. He also lets us know that what he represents and teaches is the concept of self-worship and man being their own god through the forbidden knowledge. In the first verse, he raps as the artist John Lee Hooker, also known as the Boogeyman, with Kendrick implying that his spirit was once the same spirit that possessed John Lee Hooker. He rapped, "I got this fire burning in me from within, concentrated thoughts on who I used to be. I'm shedding skin. Every day a new version of me, a third of me demented, cemented in pain, juggling the pros and cons of fame. I don't know how to make friends. I'm a lonely soul. I recollect this isolation I was 4 years old. Truth be told, I've been battling myself, trying to navigate the real and the fake, cynical about the judgment day. I did pass life regression last year, and it effed me up. Reincarnated on this earth for 100 plus. Body after body, lesson after lesson. Let's take it back to Michigan in 1947. My father kicked me out the house because I wouldn't listen to him. I don't care about his influence, only love what I was doing. Gifted as a musician, I played guitar on a grand level, the most talented where I'm from, but I had to rebel, and I'm so off in the sunset, searching for my place in the world. With my guitar up on my hip, as the story unfurled, I found myself with a pocket full of money and a whole lot of respect. While the record business loved me, I was head of rhythm and blues, the woman that fell to their feet, so many to choose. But I manipulated power as I lied to the masses, died with money. Gluttony was too attractive, reincarnated. There's a lot of important information in this verse. First, we see him make a reference to having this concentrated fire within him. This is actually connected to occult knowledge and illumination through forbidden knowledge. This is referring to the fire of Prometheus. Prometheus was the god who stole the fire from the Olympian gods and gave it to man, disobeying the gods. In this case, the fire represents forbidden knowledge, the knowledge of good and evil, which Prometheus took from the gods and gave to man so they can be as the gods. Prometheus is another representation of Lucifer, who through the serpent led Adam and Eve to the forbidden knowledge. In this verse, Kendrick is referring to himself as Prometheus and Lucifer. He has the fire within him, which is the forbidden knowledge. He then continues in the song by talking about being reincarnated and how he's been in body after body, telling his life as the musician John Lee Hooker. The most important part of this verse was when he rapped, "But I manipulated power as I lied to the masses, died with money, gluttony was too attractive, reincarnated." Kendrick admits that he manipulated his power and lied to the masses, again referring to the forbidden knowledge and Lucifer who deceived mankind. We also see how he admits that at the end, the forbidden knowledge still ended in death. Even though Lucifer claimed that through the forbidden knowledge man wouldn't die, the forbidden knowledge still corrupted their souls and ended in their death. Sin still took the victory as they were enslaved by it. Kendrick is telling us that through this forbidden knowledge, the knowledge of Prometheus, he gained the power and used it to manipulate the masses, but it also led to his downfall because it corrupted him. In the second verse, he raps, "Another life had placed me as a black woman in the chitlin circuit, seductive vocalist as the promoter hit the curtains. My voice was angelic, straight from heaven. The crowd sobbed. A musical genius, what the articles emphasized. Had everything I wanted, but I couldn't escape addiction. Needles had me in fatal positions restricted. Turned on my family. I went wherever cameras be. No private planes for my insanity. Self-indulged, discipline never been my sentiments. I needed drugs. To me, an 8-ball was penicillin. F-love. My happiness was in that brown sugar. Sex and melodies gave me hope when nobody was looking. My first assistant was a small-town scholar. Never did a quaalude till I got myself around her. My daddy looked the other way. He saw sin in me. I died with syringes pinched in me. Reincarnated." In this verse, Kendrick claims to now be reincarnated in a female artist, who just like the last artist, used the forbidden knowledge to achieve what she wanted, but at the end, sin still destroyed their soul. Kendrick is letting us know that all these artists have been using Lucifer's forbidden knowledge, trying to achieve illumination, trying to become God, but at the end, it still destroyed them and took their soul. The last verse is the most important and brings all of this together. He raps in the last verse, "My present life is Kendrick Lamar, a rapper looking at the lyrics to keep you in awe. The only factor I respected was raising the bar. My instincts send material straight to the charts. My father kicked me out the house. I finally forgive him. I'm old enough to understand the way I was living. Ego and pride had me looking at him with resentment. I close my eyes, hoping I don't come off as contentious. I'm yelling, Father, did I finally get it right? Everything I did was selfless. I spoke freely when the people needed me. I helped them. I didn't gloat, even told them no when the vultures came. Took control of my fleshly blood when the money changed. Son, you do well, but your heart is closed. I can tell residue that lingers from your past creates itself. Father, I'm not perfect. I got urges, but I hold them down. But your pride has to die. Okay, Father, show me how. Tell me every deed that you've done and what you did it for. I kept 100 institutions paid. Okay, tell me more. I put 100 hoods on one stage. Okay, tell me more. I'm trying to push peace in LA, but you love war. No, I don't. Oh, yes, you do. Okay, then tell me the truth. Every individual is only a version of you. How can they forgive when there's no forgiveness in your heart? I can tell you where I'm going. I can tell you who you are. You fell out of heaven because you was anxious, didn't like authority, only searched to be heinous. Isaiah 14 was the only thing that was prevalent. My greatest music director was you. It was colors, it was pinks, it was red, it was blues. It was harmony and motion. I sent you down to earth because you was broken. Rehabilitation, not psychosis. But now we're here now. Centuries you manipulated man with music, embodied you as a superstar to see how you moving. You came a long way from garnishing evilish views. All I ever wanted from you was love and approval. I learned a lot. No more putting these people in fear. The more that world is diminished, the more it's not real. The more light that I can capture, the more I can feel. I'm using words for inspiration as an idea. So you can promise that you won't take your gifts for granted? I promise that I'll use my gifts to bring understanding. For every man, woman, and child, how much can you vow? I vow my life just to live one in harmony now. You crush a lot of people, keeping their thoughts in captivity, and I'm ashamed that I ever created that enemy. Then let's rejoice where we're at. I rewrote the devil's story just to take our power back. Carnated. In this verse, Kendrick is talking as himself, the ultimate artist who used the forbidden knowledge without letting it corrupt and destroy him. What he is implying is that he used the forbidden knowledge, and unlike the other artists, it didn't destroy him. He is telling us he is a follower of Lucifer, and he is painting Lucifer as a liberator like the occultists believe. He finally admits that this forbidden knowledge that all these other artists use came from Lucifer. We know this because the rest of the verse plays out as a conversation between God and Lucifer. There's also several hints of this in the verse, as he ends the verse by saying, I rewrote the devil's story. This implies that he used the forbidden knowledge, and instead of leading to death and destruction, he managed to save himself, becoming his own God and earning his own salvation through the knowledge, not being corrupted by using this forbidden knowledge like the other artists before him. Another important part was when he tells us for centuries you manipulated man with music, embodied you as a superstar to see how you moving. This is again referring to Kendrick using Lucifer's forbidden knowledge to manipulate the masses. Another lyric that indicates Kendrick representing himself as Lucifer was when he rapped, you fell out of heaven because you was anxious, didn't like authority, only searched to be heinous. My greatest music director was you. It was colors, it was pinks, it was reds, it was blue. It was harmony and motion. I sent you down to earth because you was broken. Many people believe that Lucifer was the head of the choir in heaven, and that his most powerful gift was the power of music. Kendrick is playing off of this and implying that Lucifer is the god of music here on earth, the god of the forbidden knowledge, the music that they've used to manipulate the masses. In this verse, Kendrick makes it clear that he is having a conversation with God, and he is representing Lucifer, claiming that Lucifer has reincarnated inside of him. What he means by this is that he used the forbidden knowledge of Lucifer to become his own god, claiming that he finally was able to ascend to a level of illumination instead of the knowledge corrupting him. He's telling us he rewrote the devil's story, and instead of it leading to the fall of man, it led to the rise of man as a god. This song is not only blasphemous, but pushes the same ideologies that all of the music industry pushes. This is why Kendrick compared himself to several other artists. He's telling us that he finally achieved illumination through the forbidden teachings that has made him a god on earth. This is what Kendrick has been showing us for the last few years. That's the reason why he wore the crown of thorns, comparing himself to Jesus. He is trying to show us that he is illuminated. All of these videos with him showing himself levitating like a god, this is what he is telling us. Kendrick is an occultist. He is pushing a message of corruption, and it's the reason why the industry rewards him. Masonic puppet, and I have plenty of evidence to prove it. Not only does Kendrick use Masonic symbols, but he also uses secret Masonic words in his music. We see a perfect example of this in Jeezy's song American Dream that Kendrick is featured on. In the song, Kendrick raps, I hear the world calling, tell me if you all in. Look, I gotta eat, I gotta make money with, I gotta feast, I gotta rely on what's known to the traveling man. Said his own, got my Bible and my rifle in my hand. While this might seem like just another regular verse with nothing to it, there's actually a secret Masonic phrase hidden in it. In this line where Kendrick says, I gotta feast, I gotta rely on what is known to the traveling man, he is talking in Masonic code. The Freemasons have secret ways to identify each other. They use hand grips and secret phrases. One way Masons who don't know each other identify each other is by asking the question, are you a traveling man? Which literally means, are you a Freemason? This is what Kendrick is referring to by calling himself a traveling man. This is Masonic code, and Kendrick is indeed a Mason. We can find plenty of proof of this when we take a look at his lyrics and the imagery in his music videos. In plenty of Kendrick's songs, he let us know that he sold his soul to have the world, that he is a puppet being used by the elite. In his song named Kendrick Lamar, he states that he will never sell his soul, but if you carefully read the lyrics, he admits to doing just that. In the song he raps, so just to get $1 would I sell my soul? I look the devil in the eyes and tell him hell no. They say anything worth having is worth the wait. Well, I want the world, tell him how long that takes. There's no time like now. I'll cut my patience short. Even though Kendrick starts the line by saying he would never sell his soul to have the world, by the end of the line, he confirms that he compromised and sold his soul. The first line is telling us that Kendrick wanted the world but didn't want to sell out. But then he goes on to tell us how hard and how much longer it would be to make it on his own. So he cut his patience short and sold his soul and took the deal. Kendrick knows that in order to make it to the top, he has to sell his soul. Or he can take the long route, which isn't guaranteed. Even though he didn't want to sell his soul, he still in his own words wanted the world, so he was willing to cut his patience short and take the deal for a faster and easier route to the top. This isn't the only song Kendrick refers to making a deal with the devil. As in his song For Sale, Kendrick raps about this exact same thing. In the song, we see Kendrick having a conversation with a person he calls Lucy. Now, who's Lucy, you may ask? It's a nickname for Lucifer. If we look at the Genius breakdown of the song, they tell us themselves that Kendrick is referring to Lucifer as Lucy. Genius said this about the song. The song offers a deeper insight into the previously introduced figure of Lucy, a character representing Lucifer. As the song goes on, it is understood that Lucy is short for Lucifer, hence the lines about temptation and signing contracts. Now, when we look at the conversation between Lucy and Kendrick Lamar, we can see that Lucy was offering Kendrick the world, just like he did to Jesus. You said to me, you said your name was Lucy. I said, where's Ricardo? You said, oh no, not the show. Then you spit a little rap to me like this. When I turned 26, I was like, oh, you said to me, I remember what you said. You said, my name is Lucy, Kendrick. You introduced me, Kendrick. Usually I don't do this, but I see you in me, Kendrick. Lucy, give you no worries. Lucy got a million stories about these rappers that I came after when they were boring. Lucy gonna fill your pockets. Lucy gonna move your mama out of Compton, inside that gigantic mansion like I promised. Lucy just wants your trust and loyalty. Avoiding me? It's not so easy. I'm at these functions accordingly. Kendrick, Lucy don't slack a minute. Lucy works harder. Lucy gonna call you when Lucy knows you love your father. I'm Lucy. I loosely heard prayers on your first album, truly. Lucy don't mind, cause at the end of the day, you'll pursue me. Lucy go get it. Lucy not timid. Lucy up front. Lucy got paperwork on top of paperwork. I want you to know that Lucy got you. All your life I watched you, and now you're all grown up to sign this contract if that's possible. In these lyrics, Kendrick is referring to the moment he sold his soul. He is telling us how the devil approached him and offered him the world. Kendrick even implies that this deal with the devil was for his record contract, as in this line he states, now you're all grown up to sign this contract if that's possible. Kendrick sold his soul long ago and is now being used to misguide the masses. Kendrick doesn't only tell us this in that song, as he again raps about making a deal with the devil in one of his unreleased songs that is titled Untitled 03, 05, 28, 2013. You can find the lyrics to the song on Genius. In the song, Kendrick admits that he sold out and became a puppet for the elite. In the song he raps, a peace of mind, that's what the white man wanted when I rhyme, telling me that he is selling me just for $10.99. If I go platinum from rapping, I do the company fine. What if I compromise? He said it don't even matter. You'll make $1 million or more. You living better than average. You're losing your core following, gaining it all. He put a price on my talent. I hit the bank and withdrew. Put myself in the rocket ship and I shot for the stars. Look at what you're accomplishing. What he said to the boy, I'm gonna make you some promises that you just can't ignore. Kendrick admits that he is compromising his morals and soul for the world. But like he said, they put a price on his talent and he hit the bank and withdrew, meaning he sold out to the elite who gave him the world.
Some backstory on Kendrick Lamar's faith journey. His first debut album, Good Kid, Mad City, opens and closes with the sinner's prayer, the prayer that is often recognized with salvation in Protestant circles. On his second album, To Pimp a Butterfly, there's consistent references to denying Lucy, aka Lucifer, to not have influence over him. But then on his third album, it seems like Kendrick took a turn towards Hebrew Israelite theology, influenced by his Uncle Carl. As of late, many Christians, including myself, were happy when Kendrick Lamar shouted out D1 and Lecrae on one of his 2024 releases called Watch the Party Die. But in light of his previous album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, several people, including myself, were quick to point out the New Age Eastern influence on the album with the utilization of New Age guru Eckhart Tolle narrating the Big Steppers record. The same Eckhart Tolle who brought us greatest hits like these.
Personal self, temporary expression. You are the consciousness within, is the consciousness of God. There's only one consciousness.
And it seemed like maybe Kendrick was beginning to drift away from this Eckhart Tolle type of approach to his worldview. But then he dropped his latest project, GNX, with multiple bars removed in awkward places that are muted on the final master recording, to references of himself being the Alpha and Omega. But the one that takes the cake is the one that we're covering today, one that unfortunately many people missed. So what is this a nod to? This is a nod to when DMX, on his very first album, His Darkest Hell is Hot, is going back and forth with God. Even the way Kendrick records his parts kind of sounds like the way X stacked his vocals on that song. Okay, now just put a pin mark in the DMX reference. Put a pin mark in that. You fell out of heaven because you was anxious, didn't like authority, only searched to be heinous. Isaiah 14 was the only thing that was prevalent. What's Isaiah 14? That's the story, and you guys can go fact check me on this. And even what's it called here is talking about Isaiah 14 is when a great ruler from Babylon falls. Many people believe that this is Lucifer. I have no problem with saying Kendrick is lost. I have no problem with saying Kendrick needs Jesus. I have no problem with saying pray for Kendrick. I have no problem with saying any of those things. I have a problem with the consistent delusional celebration of this dude as if he's somehow aligned to a biblical worldview. He is not. He has told you he is not. He has told you in a previous album, Mr. Morale, which by the way, this record is substantially better than Mr. Morale. He's told you repeatedly that he is pro-transformer ideology in his record to his uncle becoming a man. Or his auntie's a man now. He is not on your team, Christian. He's just not. It's not just me. Go look at the Genius annotations that all are saying this. None of my instincts and material strengths to the church. My father kicked me out of the house. I finally forgive him. Who is the father in the story? Who is the father in the story? God. Kendrick finally forgives God. This is calling evil good and good evil. This is literally satanic, fam. This is the definition of satanic. Kendrick forgives God because he finally has the epitome to understand why he was kicked out of heaven. And he's rapping from the perspective of Lucifer being incarnated into him. And for those folks still on the fence and saying, you don't get the context, Kendrick is trying to get away from Lucifer, he is just trying to take the story back, would you be okay if someone wrote the same exact song, but instead of being reincarnated as Lucifer, they're really reincarnated as Hitler, and they're going to take the story of the Nazis back? You wouldn't, would you? So then why would you be okay with Kendrick saying the same things about being reincarnated as Lucifer? Guys that jumped out the window and said that I didn't know what I was talking about. Ruslan, you don't understand hip-hop. You're not a part of the culture. Well, here is the culture making the same exact points by two prominent people within the culture using the same exact points as I did in this conversation. So let's first look at the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah, but I was thinking the scenarios were actual stories from artists in the past.
Got it.
I don't hear that. No, that's what I heard. They said they are actual artists, and those artists passed away, and they were born again, and it kept going like that.
Who was born again?
He's the last person.
Saint Lucifer was born into the artist and then passed away and then came
I got
again.
that, but I'm saying verse 1 and verse 2, there's no information in there in verse 1 and verse 2 that says, I'm talking about Chuck Berry, I'm talking about Billie Holiday. No, actually, the opening of the song, he is saying, me dancing through my past life transgressions had me here. And then in the final verse, he comes on and says, and now I'm me. And he's pulling from the information from his past, whoever the other person was.
John D. Hooker, I heard was.
Yeah.
What's the other name I just told you?
Dinah Washington.
Dinah Washington.
So it wasn't
So yeah,
Billie Holiday.
they are saying that.
I'm just saying what I hear.
Yeah,
when
our
I
interpretation
listen
is
to the
different.
song.
Yeah, our interpretation is different. Well, that's art.
Our interpretation is different. So this is the culture. This is the biggest hip hop podcast in the world. And two of the hosts are saying verbatim what I told you guys. They're actually saying more than that. They're actually saying the whole song is written from the perspective of Satan, reincarnating themselves and landing at Kendrick Lamar. I just said the third verse was
And that's what Joe Budden was saying, right? Just right now.
Joe Budden's saying, I don't hear it that way.
That's the way I gathered it was the devil, and then this person, and now I'm reincarnated, and I'm still kind of having some of the fights that those people had with different. You know what I'm saying? Reincarnation is when you die and you're born as somebody else.
It doesn't stop there, friends. We got our very own Lecrae.
Sometimes I wonder what Lecrae would do.
Who decided to phone in from Nigeria, Africa, to give us his thoughts on it.
So, initially I wasn't going to talk about this because it's like the clout chasing thing. I don't want anybody to perceive this as that. And I was listening to Kendrick's album and just like, man, thinking about how wonderful of a craftsman he is. Just like, golly, he's so good at this. And his music and his soundscape and the lyricism is just the concepts. It's like a class in its own in terms of his creative giftings. But then the more I listen, I hear the things that are dangerous for people. Specifically, the Reincarnated song. The Reincarnated song, on first listen, I'm just like acknowledging like, oh, he took a Tupac beat and you know what I'm saying? He's telling a story and you get into the story. And it's almost like when someone is telling you this amazing story and they take a left turn that you wasn't expecting them to take and you're like, hold on, wait, say it again? You know what I mean? That's what it felt like to me. It was like somebody was telling me a story and it was like, yeah, man, and then, I walked in the room and that's when I headbutted the television. And I'm like, wait, what? You did what? Wait, rewind. What happened? So as I'm listening to the song, someone's like, yo, he's retelling the story of Lucifer. And I'm like, oh, let me listen to it. Let me pay attention. Because, I'm not a lyrics first guy. I'm a vibe first guy. So I go back and I'm like, let me listen to the lyrics. And I'm listening to the lyrics. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You're saying Lucifer embodied this first artist, then embodied the second artist, and then currently embodies you. And I'm like, whoa, my guy. Whoa, now. Slow down. We're going too far. Not only are we going too far, we're getting some biblical text wrong. So on one end of the spectrum, just the idea in Isaiah 14 that he was the morning star that fell to the earth, and that's where he's saying he's getting his text from the story Lucifer from Isaiah 14. To me, it's dangerous. Like, you don't want to say, oh, Satan has embodied me and he's trying. Like, even Satan deserves some redemption. He doesn't. He's the father of lies. Revelation says that his story's already written. He will end in the lake of fire. So I think it's dangerous to try to put him in that position. What I hear, I could be wrong, is Kendrick trying to reconcile the evil within us all, including himself, with like, well, yeah, maybe Satan does like enter us and make us do bad things, and we.
So yeah, this guy went and exposed Drake for being a PDFO, this that. That's not the point. And the thing is, these people will expose something, 2% of something, and not say anything else about the rest. People will label him a truth teller when, for real, he hasn't really done anything so drastic to the point where you could give him the title of, oh, he's exposed so much, he's on the good side, this, that. I see him as a regular guy that don't like Drake, he don't like Fake, he don't like this, that. That's how I see Kendrick. However, I also know that he is a part of the game. Like the rest of the people in the industry, they're all a part of the game. You don't reach certain heights without being a part of the game. So, I remember back in 2022 days, I would always have people spamming my comments, Kendrick Lamar, and I already had info on him, but I don't know, I never got around to the video. But it's always a good time to post or make and then post a video on someone when of course they're popping or whatever, all up in the news. That's not me clout chasing, that's just looking at the opportunity and thinking, I bet probably the best time for me to drop this now. So yeah, I don't give two dash about clout. I'll drop a video on anyone at any time like I have been doing. And plus it's about the purpose. The main purpose and goal is to attract more eyes to the truth, what's really going on. That's the whole purpose of this account. Bruh, 99% of us don't get paid for this. I don't care about numbers. I've seen all the numbers before. I wouldn't be 22 accounts deep on TikTok if it was just for money or some clout or whatever. I would have been gave up. This is raw passion for the game, and I'm just trying to get all the truth out while I can. I'm just doing the best I can to wake more people up. That's all I'm trying to do, because I know this stuff, and you know that feeling when it's like, bro, I know something, and it's like, bro, I want to tell the secret or something like that. This is how I feel, man. I know some stuff. I want to share it, bro. That's it. I rarely do this voiceover videos. I rarely do videos anyway. I kind of slowed down over the past year or two, but yeah, from time to time I'm a drop these type videos, and I know people appreciate it. So yeah, man, I appreciate all the support that people be giving me all the time, even within my absence. But yeah, man, I've never stopped collecting the truth, just putting it out there, editing it all, and putting it out there. Like, I've been real slow, which I really apologize for. So I'm gonna try to get back on it. And yeah, life gets busy, man. But yeah, man, game is game, man. I appreciate it, man. Take care.